Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're talking about this Victorinox Trekker and why it might be a good option for you to add it to your everyday carry or your outdoor system. So for this video today, we're partnering up with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And so what I've done is down in the description section, you'll see links to their website and then to the specific products that you're going to see in this video. So this is our first project with them. We have some other projects in the mix in the future. So head over to their website, give them some love, and if you have an opportunity to let them know, tell them that you came to their website because of this Everyday Tactical Vids video that you're watching today. If you're familiar with Victorinox, you know they have a ton of different styles and sizes of knives. So they've got tiny little pocket knives with maybe 1 or 2 blades, up to something like this that has a variety of different tools. Then they have knives like this that have probably twice as many tools as this one, up to full-size, just single blade folding knives that are even larger than what you're looking at here. So a huge variety from Victorinox. The reason I chose this one is because it fits into my systems and my setups. So this gives me a couple of tools in addition to the blade, but it doesn't give me a ton of tools that I'm just not going to use. Let's talk through some of the details here on the knife. Your blade length is 3.375 inches. Your handle length is 4.439 inches. Your steel for the blade and for all the tools is stainless steel. And just a note, that doesn't mean you can throw this in a bucket of water and leave for 6 months and come back and have no issues whatsoever. A blade like this will still eventually corrode. It's just a lot more resistant to water and other forms of moisture. So, when you're done with it, wipe it off, clean it off, let it dry out, and then you should be good to go. Let's quickly talk through the tools and then we're going to put this thing to use. Okay, so down on this end you can see obviously we have the knife and then a saw as well. Very aggressive teeth on the saw, so be aware that if you run your hand along the edge, it's definitely going to cut you up. You'll see here on the tip of the knife it's not very pointed, so just be aware of that. It will still definitely pierce, but it's not coming to a very fine and aggressive point. On the top or the back here, you do see that we have a Phillips head screwdriver and then also the awl. And then down on this end, we have a flathead screwdriver and a bottle opener. And then you have a toothpick. And on this side, a small set of tweezers. And on the underside here, you can see we have a can opener. And the tip of this right here on the can opener will also serve as a very small flathead screwdriver. So that's our quick run-on of the tools. The one thing I want to additionally note is that all the tools, other than, let me get these out of the way here, other than these two, all the other tools are going to be held open by basically just the friction of them locking open. So some people might call them a slip joint locking mechanism, but this blade and this screwdriver actually lock in, and you can see there's this little nub here that says press, and on this side, this little nub here that says press. So you're going to press them to the side like you would for most liner locks and then fold it out of the way. So if I try to push this thing, it's locked in. I press this to the side and it will close up. Sometimes I think that people love a fixed blade in the woods, which I do too, but sometimes I think a folding knife like this can be underrated. One thing you see right here is that these knives come extremely sharp, so just be careful when you take it out of the box. It's not dull. You got to be very careful with it not to cut yourself or anything else with it. I mean, you can see, again, with this thing locked in and large size hands, I'm able to hold this thing quite effectively. And so let's say I was working on a trap or something like that. Maybe I was making a hook to hang a pot for cooking over a camp stove or cooking over a campfire. This thing will definitely do the job nicely. And despite the fact that it's got lots of kind of bumps and ridges there for all the tools, still very comfortable in hand as I'm holding it to do this cutting. Full flat grind on this. I find these knives quite easy to sharpen up. So there's a look at that. So you got carving, some of that detail work. This knife will definitely get the job done. As you can see there, Nice clean cut. It cut so quickly I had to kind of readjust my setting a couple times just so I didn't go through and end up hitting the rock with the saw blade. But yeah, that'll definitely do the job, cutting through some small wood. Now obviously with a blade like this, it's about a little bit under 3.5 inches. You're not gonna be doing any massive sawing, but for small tasks, you know, camp tasks and things you're gonna be doing, for bushcraft tasks, so that is a nice saw. And you can see, yeah, like I said, those teeth are quite aggressive, so be careful when you're using it. So I don't personally find people sawing on camera super exciting, and I doubt you do either. So I just did this off camera, but to show you a couple more cuts with this Victorinox Trekker. All right, I'm gonna head inside now and actually test out the 2 screwdrivers and the can opener. You probably don't wanna see me pick food out of my teeth, but trust me, the toothpick does work. And I'm not gonna get splinters in my skin just to use the tweezers to remove them from my skin, but trust me, the tweezers work as well. Those are actually 2 of the items that I've had on other Victorinox knives that I've used a lot. Alright guys, let's wrap up here talking about this Victorinox Trekker. We'll talk about price point, we'll talk about pluses and minuses of this knife, and then I'll show you some other knives you may want to also check out that are kind of comparable to this one. So your price point for this is $49.99 over at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And again, this is the first video I've partnered up with them. We've got some more videos coming up in the future. Let's talk about downsides first of this knife, and then we'll talk about positives, because there are way more positives, I think, than the downsides. First downside is, for me, I generally like a pocket clip. That's pretty non-standard on Victorinox style knives, but I'd like a pocket clip in general. That's something I prefer on a knife, but it's not a make or break thing for me, at least. The other downside is maybe not as specific to me, but if there are different tools that you're looking for, then this might not be the knife for you, because you want scissors, you want pliers, you want something else. For me, this one has the tools that I'm actually looking for, and that's a plus, because I don't need a lot of the extra bells and whistles that come on some of the other ones, you know, that are twice as thick or 3 times as thick sometimes as this. There are some really wide Victorinox knives. I don't need that extra weight and a lot of the extra tools. Now, something else to be aware of when you're using this knife, again, is that it doesn't have locking mechanisms on all the tools. So if you're, you know, using something really hard, you're cranking down on it and it's not locked in, well, you gotta be careful. Here are some of the upsides. I like the full flat grind. For me in the field, that's an easy type of blade to sharpen. I like the saw. It cut really well. It's quite aggressive for a small saw, and the ergonomics are actually quite good on it. If you remember, it's not just straight out. Has kind of an angle, so you've got your hand tilted in a little bit more of a ergonomic friendly fashion for this knife. Another thing is that this has the tools I need, but not a lot of extra tools. Sometimes on a multi-tool or even on a Victorinox knife, you have all these extra tools that you never use, and that's extra weight you're carrying. It's just, you know, something else to clean, and again, the weight. So why have those if you're not going to use them? For me, this has all the tools I'm going to use on a regular basis. I was a little concerned at first with the tip on that, on the blade, just thinking, oh, it's not, you know, sharp enough to really pierce, but it does a good job. It pierces as effectively as I need it to, and this is not built to be some big self-defense knife. So yeah, even though I was a little bit concerned about that, it ended up working out fine. And the other thing I'll mention too is that the blade comes extremely sharp, which is nice. You don't have to get it and after, you know, a couple days of using it, work it and resharpen it and try to put an edge back on it. It comes really sharp, and I just like that when I get a knife that's actually sharp and I don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning it up right after it arrives. Let's say hypothetically you like that knife, but you don't need all the bells and whistles, you just want the blade. Well, maybe you want to check out the Sentinel. I've got links for this down below as well over at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This is going to run you $30, $29.99. Very simple blade. It's basically what we're looking at in the Trekker, but just that blade. It does have a locking mechanism, so fold that up, and then when it pops out, you'll hear it click here. And that's locked out. So that's the Sentinel, $30, and this thing is extremely lightweight. You do have the blade, as I mentioned, and then down on the end you do have the toothpick and the tweezers as well. And it does have a little loop here if you want to add a lanyard. So if you want something a little more simple, maybe the Sentinel is the one to check out. If you're looking for something a little bit more robust and with some different tools, maybe you want to check out this. This is one of their Hunters. This is going to be $51.99 on the Smoky Mountain Knife Works website. And again, links are down below in the description. It does come with this little sheath pouch. You can get it in a couple colors. I got the green here to show you guys. It does have this curved blade, it's fully serrated. It does have same blade as the Trekker. It does have this saw blade as well, and then on the back it's got your Phillips head screwdriver. No, as you can see, no toothpick or tweezers down there. But yeah, so this is a little bit different, a little bit heftier, and I like the you got some texture up there on that end, on the two ends. And then you got some different color options. So this is one of the Hunters, again, $51.99 over at the Smoky Mountain Knife Works website. This is maybe something you want to check out as well. All right, guys, once again, we've been looking at this, which is the Victorinox Trekker. And shout out to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Thanks for partnering with us in this video. And links to all these knives are down below. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. More videos coming soon. Take care. Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday. Here we go.